We're coming towards the end of the seminar workshop now, and this is a very, very crucial phase. If we just leave the workshop with kind of warm feelings and some good intentions, guaranteed that when we hit the outside, re-enter, they'll evaporate very, very quickly. What do we need to take with us? We need to take clear intentions that how we're going to make this a reality in our lives. This isn't just about getting good feelings. It's about making a positive change in our own lives, in our own hearts, in our own lives, and in the world around us. So we want to get some specific progress on specific projects. I'd like you to look through, while you've been doing the seminar workshop, you'll be making notes, getting ideas, inspirations, and intentions. So I'd like you to look through and come up with 3 specific goals or projects. They can be large or they can be small, it doesn't matter. You can be planning a new business with using the principles that we've been going through in this seminar workshop, or it can be something quite small, like some situation in the family. But anyway, 3 specific goals or projects. What is a goal? There's a difference between a goal and a wish. A wish is something you'd like to happen, but you don't have a clear intention of doing the needful to make it happen. It'll be nice, but it may happen, it may not happen. A goal is something that you want to achieve, and you have a clear intention of doing the needful to achieve it. So we want 3 goals. Now goals, some characteristics of goals. First of all, they should be clear and specific. If you're describing the goal to somebody else, they should have a clear idea what you're talking about. They should be measurable so that you know whether or not you have achieved the goal. It doesn't be measurable in numbers, but measurable in the sense that there should be a clear outcome and you can determine whether or not you've achieved that outcome. Like, for example, in a relationship, it doesn't have to be numbers, but you decide that I want a particular outcome in this relationship, and there will be a clear indication whether that outcome has been achieved or not. And then the third thing is that the goals have to be achievable. If the goal is not achievable, if in your heart of hearts you don't really have faith that if you apply reasonable effort that you can achieve this goal, you won't be motivated to make the effort to achieve it. So these 3 aspects of the goals. They should be clear and specific, they should be measurable, in other words, they should be a clear outcome, and they should be achievable. This is about goals. Okay? And the next thing is that I want you to describe reasons why you want to achieve those goals. It has to mean something to you in terms of your desires and your values. So for each of that project, you need to have a clear statement why this is beneficial for you and why you will make the necessary effort to achieve this goal. Okay? So you make the goals, write down your goals, and they'll be clear and specific, they'll be measurable, and they'll be achievable. And then you'll have clear reasons why this means so much to you that you will make the effort to achieve this goal. Having written that down, move into pairs and take it in turns to describe your goals and find out from the other person, whether they're getting a clear picture of what you're saying. You should communicate your goal in such a way that they get a clear picture, it's making a clear impression on them what they're saying, and then you describe the reasons and get feedback from them whether they get the impression that this is a real reason for you, that it actually means something to you, and that it is actually giving you the energy and the determination to take the necessary activity in order to achieve the goal. So, okay, move into your pairs and with your 3 goals, work like that. Good. Okay, now you've determined your goals, you've shared on them, and I guess you've probably refined them to some extent from the feedback that you got, so they're now more clear and more definite. Now, I want to explain something which will help achieve the goals. And this is called force field analysis. It's kind of a fancy title for a very simple process. It really means looking at the what's going to help you to achieve your goal and what is opposing your goal. These influences can be either in your side, for example, what's going to help you, your desire to achieve the goal. What's going to oppose? Laziness, doubt, indecision. Or it can be external. It may be that a certain group of other people, they also want to achieve this goal, and what's against? It may be doubts on the part, or prejudice, or that there's another process in place. So you'll analyze the situation, and you'll analyze what are the specific forces, influences, which are helping to forward your aims, which are going in the direction of your goal, and which are the forces or influences which are opposing, or which will oppose. At first sight, it looks as though the most reasonable thing is to increase the impetus behind getting the goal, and maybe to ignore, to some extent, the forces opposing. But actually this isn't realistic. And why is this? Because when you start on a new project, generally speaking, there's going to be a reaction against it. For example, supposing you want to put a new idea in place or a new process in place, immediately you do that, there's going to be a reaction against it, or most likely there'll be a reaction against it from people who are prejudiced, from people who are not used to new ideas, from people who don't understand it. So, in order to implement a new idea, a new project, we need to look at the opposing forces and make a very clear action plan. How are we going to reduce or neutralize or resolve those opposing forces? So, for example, prejudice. How can you present the project in such a way that people's prejudice will be reduced? Or if they don't understand, okay, how can we present it in such a way as to help them to understand the project better? So force field analysis, it means analyzing the situation, specifying those forces which are helping the project, specifying those forces which are opposing the project, see how to increase the favorable influences, and especially how to decrease the opposing influences. So just have a look at, with your specific goals, have a look at that. Do a little simple force field analysis on your goals so that you can come to a better understanding how to move forward and how to deal with present obstacles or obstacles that will come in the future. Okay. So we've got a three-stage planning process. First is to specify the goals, and then the second one is the force field analysis. We want to enhance the forces which are for the project and to decrease the forces which are against the project. And then the third one now is actual planning, timeline. We got a 6-month timeline, and we want to start with the end in mind. We have that goal there, visualizing that goal, and now we have to work backwards to the present time. How do we get from here to there? And that will require specific steps. It will require that we make a commitment to perform specific activities and get specific outcomes, so that at the end of the 6 months, then we'll be where we want to be. So now, for your 3 projects, make a timeline, a 6-month timeline, that committing to specific steps with specific outcomes, which are going to result in a consistent way, which are going to result to achieving your desired outcome, reaching your goal in 6 months' time. So you can make the timeline, you can write or you can draw and make it very clear so that you have the specific steps you're going to take, and it's clear that the outcomes are going to result in the achievement of the goal. Okay.